We'll be working on an 8 by 10 inch canvas using acrylic paints in the colors yellow, white, red, blue, pink, pale blue, and black. We'll also be using a sheet of carbon or graphite paper to trace our image onto our canvas. You can purchase carbon or graphite paper at your local office supply store or by clicking the affiliate link in the description box below. And you can download today's free Forky traceable from our website, paintingwithred.com. So gather your paints and materials, and then have your child or student follow along with this step-by-step video as I teach them how to paint. Let's get started. We're going to begin by taking a sheet of graphite paper and placing it on top of our canvas. Make sure the shiny side is facing down. Next, place your Forky stencil on top of the graphite paper. As you can see in the video, I trim both sheets down to the size of my canvas and then tape them down on the sides. Then, take a basic ballpoint pen and begin tracing Forky's head, face, and hand. Apply a good amount of pressure when doing this, but be careful not to poke through your paper or tear the canvas. When you're done, carefully pull off the tape and remove the paper. Your canvas should look like this. Now it's time to paint. Dip your brush in the yellow paint and then fill in all the areas around Forky's head. Make sure to get the areas between his fingers and under his hand. You can also paint the top, bottom, and sides of your canvas if you like. Next, take a clean brush and mix a tiny bit of pale blue with some white paint. If you've ever held up a plastic spoon or fork to the light, you'll notice that they have a little bit of a bluish tint. That's the color we're going for. Once you've made that new ice blue color, begin filling in Forky's head and face. Don't color in the whites of his eyes right now. We'll come back and do that later with regular white. So for now, just work around his eyes and eyebrow. But I do want you to fill in the open area inside his mouth. Just try to avoid his lips. Next, take a clean brush, load it with red, and begin filling in his eyebrow. You'll need to paint 2 layers of red to get that nice vibrant color. For the next step, I want you to use either a round foam sponge or a round stencil brush like this. I'll put links for both of these in the description box below. So using either one of these brushes, begin dabbing red onto Forky's hand and fingers. When you're done with that step, take a clean brush and mix the tiniest bit of pink into some white paint until you get a very pale pink color. Brush that pale pink onto Forky's cheeks. Then, take a dry brush and blend it in. The pink spots don't have to be the same size or shape. Next, blend some white with some blue until you get a nice sky blue color. And then carefully fill in Forky's lips. Now it's time to paint Forky's eyes. Take a clean brush, load it with plain white, and fill in the 2 larger circles. Grab a smaller brush, load it with black, and then fill in the 2 small circles. Avoid getting black inside the tiny circles in his eyes. Those are Forky's pupils. We're going to go back with a thin round brush and paint those white. Forky looks pretty good right about now, but if you want to make him look even better, follow the next steps. Dip a narrow brush into some pale blue and trace Forky's eyes from the upper left side to the lower bottom right. This is going to give his eyes sort of a 3D look, so they don't seem so flat. Do the same thing for the other eye. See how much better he's looking already? Now I want you to trace the pointy parts of his fork with that same pale blue, but only trace the left side, like this. When you reach the last point on the left, go ahead and trace all the way down the left side of Forky's head, right down to his neck. See how he's starting to pop out from the background? Now I want you to dip your brush into some regular blue paint and trace the left side of Forky's lower lip. Then, trace the inside corner of the right side of his mouth, like this. Adding this darker blue shadow makes Forky's mouth look like it's actually made of Play-Doh, just like in the movie. Grab a clean brush and mix the tiniest amount of black into your red. Use this darker red to trace the line going across the lower part of Forky's eyebrow. Then add some of that same dark red along the edges of Forky's fingers, hand, and arm. Use short, fast strokes to make it look like tiny fuzzy hairs. Soften this color by dabbing it with your finger. Do you see how much better Forky looks after we added the shadows? Here's a before and after photo. See the difference? In the after photo, Forky looks just like he did in the movie. See, just adding a few extra strokes made all the difference. Now let's take a look at our finished painting. Doesn't Forky look great? And here's our artwork hanging on a wall. See, you can paint anything as long as you break it down into simple steps.